Hi y'all, Metaphysical Mama. How is everyone? It's been hella long since I've done any kind of video. I just thought I'd pop on and do a little reading. I don't know if this music's gonna affect my background. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to hop on and do a little quick, some kind of encouragement reading. I have one here. This is one of the, this is a book I've had for a long time. The Language of Letting Go by Melodie, Beattie. And it's a super good book. It has just little, you can flip open to any page and, you know, you don't have to go by the date. And it always has just a good little passage in it of some kind of encouragement. So I'm going to read, this is the passage from September 15th. And it's getting through hard times, which I thought was sufficient in the times that we're in, and it's always good to hear some positive reinforcement. So here we go. Getting through hard times. We are sturdy beings, but in many ways we are fragile. I had someone say that to me once. We can accept change and loss, but this comes at our own pace and in our own way. And only we and God can determine the timing. Codependent no more. And honestly, the whole of the United States and many nations and individuals of people, really the issue is codependency and alcoholic behavior, because it's a ism, it's a behavior ism. You could have never touched a drink ever, and you still express and carry the traits of Al-Ghul is a star system. It's spelled, I think, Alghol. But I suggest, you know, look it up and do some research. And that has a lot to do with our gut leading the way, and our head. You know, it's like the ego fighting the gut and the thoughts and the feelings, you know. So as we're balancing, coming into, we're really upgrading our DNA, and it's like metamorphosis, or like, you know, when a woman is pregnant, or a baby is, you know, a fetus is in an egg or in a womb, an embryo, and is growing. You know, we go through change. And I think, isn't the sun's in Pisces, the moon in Cancer? Today's February 22nd. I think so. And I pulled the moon card earlier too. And so that, you know, the word Cancer, that's the mother, and we've been attacking it and calling it something bad when it's the Divine Mother entering our body and letting us know we have some work to do, and it's time to wake up our Divine Feminine. Most times there's many different variables and diagnoses, so I don't, you know, but a lot of people use that word just as COVID, right? I don't even like using that word, the CV19, 19er. So using words to call something bad when it's something that is natural, that we need to be patient with ourselves and love ourselves and nurture ourselves, and it's learning to give ourselves permission to do that while working with right? We could say God, our higher self, supernatural powers, elements, extraterrestrials, whatever works and applies for you is what it is, right? So, but just it's like cleaning out clutter and cleaning out our closet. So it's important to, again, just be patient with ourselves, which can be really fucking hard because we're, you know, so good at beating ourselves up. Or jumping to conclusions. You know, our first thought is usually fearful and negative, so we usually go with that, and where we can generally go with our first thought, the feeling that arises within us. My lips are so chapped. Sorry. And you know, allow that to be the focus, or where, you know, where our energy gets taken, because energy flows where thought goes. So when we're being thrown out so many negative vibrations on from other people, in our own minds, on television, from you know, others, you know, that's kind of what we call too virus, is like the snakes, right? Truth mixed with lies has to be sent out, like the game of telephone. And you know, as things travel and perception gets altered from one being to another and reinterpreted, right? It's like that's how all of our history and her stories and all that have been passed down. So, you know, in truth, you know, your own truth resonates in, like, in our center chakra here. It's like when you, like, I'd say to people when, like when you're swimming and you're treading water, it's like that point where you get up right where you're above water and you can tread. So that's like your floating point, right? 0 point gravity. So, and we can't stay there, and we can't stay high, and we can't, you know, stay in a negative. I have a call. But we have more awareness and recognition of such nature, and then as we start observing ourselves and our behaviors and where our thoughts and feelings take us, if we start incorporating that practice, you know, it's like brushing your teeth. You have to keep doing it. And some days are better than others, depending on, right, what we're going through, how things are aligned, because that affects our chemistry in our body. So we have different vibratory frequencies affecting us. So I got way off my reading, but I guess all is, you know, I never do what I think I'm going to do. So half the time that's what prevents me from ever coming on, because I get stumped at the beginning. I'm like, I don't even know. I have too much. Too much. Let's see. So this reading, I'm getting texted and distracted and called. I apologize. Hard times, stressful times are not all there is to life, but they are part of life, growth, and moving forward. What we do with hard times or hard energy is our choice. Work through our issues. Oh, wait. I skipped a whole line. We can use the energy of hard times to work out and work through our issues. We can use it to fine-tune our skills and spirituality. Or we can go through these situations suffering, storing up bitterness, and refusing to grow or change. Sounds familiar. And a lot of time we think we're willing, but you know, the thing that always is our obstacle is fear. You know, even people that are so tyrannically, you know, and narcissistic tyrants, control mongers, you know, fear mongers, people that just have to be really loud just to talk over you or through you and like railroad over you. It's always from a feeling of fear. Not being good enough, not being accepted, not being right. You know, the feeling of rejection jumps ahead, and then the ego, or whatever we want to call it, our thoughts of negativity come to protect us and create denial, right? Denial. And then we have like a block. Talk to the hand. So, anyhow, you know, having bitterness causes disease. And that's what makes us sick. So if we're constantly having feelings of not feeling, we keep telling ourselves that we're not loved, we're not worthy, we're not, etc. All those lies, those are lies. You know, that creates blocks within our vessel, in our body, in our mind, all different manners and ways, depending on, right, the nature of one's natural train of thought and operating process, right? It's like we're all human, but we all have a different place that we start, you know, right? Like where you start, like when you wake up in the morning, where you start in your mind, or when you close your eyes, where, you know, like what element you connect with, or what thoughts come up and where they go, right? It's like the train, choo choo. So it's like, oh, the feeling and the thought connect, and then they'd start going. So how many different thoughts can we have? And we want to create many, right? Not just allow the first few negatives. The first few are always going to be negative. That's kind of what we want to, right, say rabbit ears in quotes, right? KILL. But we don't want to attach to those thoughts and feelings and let those run us, right? We want to allow more thoughts and more feelings to occur, so we have more branches on our tree, so we're bearing and producing fruit, etc. Because otherwise we're cutting ourselves short. We're just freaking out, and and that's, right, becoming a leper. So lots of plays on words. I jump around a lot from lots of different, I'll say, I guess, dimensions, but right, from different realms. So stories, I could go from fairy tales to the Bible to a codependency book to a chakra book to crystals to, I mean, I'm kind of all over. So, but it's all, I just felt like Happy Gilmore. It's all in the hips. It's all relevant. For me, I'm very Neptunian and Uranian. Venus so I have a lot of unconditional love and a lot of out there thinking, like no boundaries. And Neptunian's very like, ooh, right? So I mix a lot of feelings and thoughts, and think about how things feel and how other people feel. Word brings up a lot of stuff for me. One word opens up a whole bunch of different, it's like everything's floating in the ocean, like I don't even know how to really explain it better than that. 1441. But just, yeah, infinite possibilities. Right? It's like, ooh, that could be good, but then, ooh, that might happen. And like, oh, well, how about over there? Then I could do that. So I could drift all over the place like I am right now, trying to explain it. Okay. So, we don't want to store up bitterness and refuse to grow. The only constant is change, so we want to allow ourselves to be more free-flowing and fluid, even when we're scared. Because then we can, to find a safe place within self and breathe, generally more than once, in and out, and see if you can breathe past your navel, past the belly, and keep pushing that energy out, because that'll help clear your vessel of a lot of negative energy that is being held within it. It's kind of like magnetic, like when you see dust flying around in the sunlight. It's like, so we cling on to energy, have attachments and stuff. So it's important to hum, sing, dance, take a salt water bath, whatever works and feels right in that moment. Light some incense, turn all the lights off and just sit in quiet. Whatever works. Go outside, breathe fresh air, talk to a plant. Okay. Hard times can motivate and mold us to bring out our best. We can use these times to move forward and upward to higher levels of living, loving, and growth. And that's totally what we're in right now. It's like birth pains, so we're being squeezed through narrow spaces, or what have you. Scared, lots of change, right? COVID, Corona, which is virus of the crown, right? What we thought we knew, we didn't know, and now we don't know what to do, where to go, kind of thing. And Mercury is the fifth element in alchemy. So we have fire, earth, air, water. Water's first. And Mercury can be quite messy. They call it quicksilver. My coffee pot, I have tea water in my coffee pot. Just went off at the same time. Mercury's making the Tin Man. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Hard times can motivate and mold us to bring out our best. We can use these times to move forward and upward to higher levels of living, loving, and growth. The choice is ours. Will we let ourselves feel? Will we take a spiritual approach, including gratitude toward the event? All right, it's hard to have gratitude when things are falling apart, and to be grateful for challenges and like for the people that are showing us lessons where we need to be more strong or learn ourselves is really hard at sometimes, but it's so important. I have to do that often. I'll do another one. It's another video. Toward the event or person or being. Will we question life and our higher power by asking what we're supposed to be learning and doing? Or will we use the incident to prove old negative beliefs? Will we say, nothing good ever happens to me, I'm just a victim, people can't be trusted, life isn't worth living, blah, 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 blah. Winos, whining, poor me. Which it's okay to feel those things, but like, right, it's like, those things, that's disease. We want to get out of there. Out of those lies we tell ourselves. We do not always require hard energy or stress to motivate us to grow and change. We do not have to create stress, seek it, or attract it. But if it's there, we can learn to channel it into growth and use it for achieving what's good in life. God, let my hard times be healing times. I love that. And that's a really good and hard message, and sometimes our hardest lessons to learn, bring us the most value and the greatest sense of self. And all I can say is keep going. All we have is time, and we don't have to be run by a clock or by what we think is so right or wrong. It doesn't mean go do wrong things. It means give yourself the time and the space you need, right, to love yourself and give yourself permission to do that. Sometimes it just takes that few minutes to recenter. And when we're caught up in the moment of thoughts and feelings that are attacking and feeling overwhelming, it's very hard. Or when we have others around us that are doing that, and etc. So we're all learning to communicate and come from different, to listen a little bit better, myself included, hugely. So it's, listening with our heart and not feeling the need to serve everyone's expectations, because there's a lot of expectations, and then that's not healthy for anyone. Now I have knockings on my door. I guess that's peace out. One love, y'all.